Tonight, 25 Investigates goes undercover inside Boston's taxpayer-funded tent that's supposed to help get people off of drugs and into treatment.
It's a comfortable place to chill.
But that's not all that's happening there. Now some want it shut down.
The stopgap did not work.
Investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen has been covering issues on Boston's Methadone Mile for years.
And Eric, as you were going inside the city's so-called engagement center, someone tried to sell you drugs.
Vanessa Mark, the dealer who approached me, said I could get anything I wanted. Boston is on track to spend millions on the tent that opened a little more than a year ago to try to clean up the area known as Methadone Mile. The mayor says it's working, but others aren't convinced, so 25 Investigates went inside. And here now is a look at what our cameras recorded. On the verge of passing out, 25 Investigates observed this woman and this man both struggling to stay upright for several minutes without anyone offering assistance. We found them and others inside the City of Boston's Engagement Center, a tent set up just off the intersection of Mass Ave and Milnea Cass Boulevard. The city opened the tent last summer in response to images like these, people crowded together on the street where our cameras documented an open-air market for drugs. By his own definition,
I'm a drug addict.
31-year-old Matty is one of the people the city wanted to move off of this corner. He and others here say this daytime drop-in center is a welcome alternative to the streets.
They monitor you. They don't just let you come in here shit-faced and high on drugs.
But that's not what our undercover investigation found. And just as I was about to walk into the tent, this man tried to sell me drugs. State law prohibits us from recording audio, but after I refused the offer, the same man followed me inside the tent, still pushing me to buy, with city staff just steps away.
It makes us question what is going on in the tent.
Reverend June Cooper is the executive director of City Mission, helping those struggling with homelessness and addiction.
I really have a lot of concern about how effective has the tent been? It's not getting people clean and sober. It's not getting people in recovery.
How would you say the engagement center is doing?
I mean, it's working. It's keeping people off the street or getting people off the street.
By that measure, Mayor Marty Walsh says the tent has been a success. The Boston Public Health Commission says the center is averaging 28 referrals a week to homeless and recovery services. About 32 people a week get help from an on-site nurse.
While they're in there, we're trying to see if we can help certain people that are willing to get into recovery, but it's keeping some of the chaos off the street.
It's basically an air-conditioned warehouse as far as I'm concerned.
Jim Stewart runs the First Church Shelter in Cambridge. He says the good intentions of the tent don't go far enough.
It gets folks out of sight, and in the extreme weather, of course, who's against having them off the streets? But what it does, it just concentrates them in a place where it's easier for municipalities, the states, to ignore.
Over the last year, 25 Investigates found fewer people on these corners, but our cameras also recorded more people using and selling drugs in broad daylight just 2 blocks away outside the tent. Since it opened, Boston EMS has responded to 130 possible overdoses at this address, which the tent shares with a men's shelter. We showed Mayor Walsh what our undercover investigation found inside the tent. What is your reaction to see images like that?
My reaction, as a person, it's horrible. That image that I just witnessed is an image that we'd be seeing on the sidewalk. And at least when we have the engagement center, we have trained staff in there that can try and help people when they're ready to be helped. A lot of times,
with all due respect, we watched that woman for minutes and no one came to help her.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. This is a gotcha thing that you're trying to do here, and that's not the case.
I'm asking for your response.
My response is that the engagement center is keeping images like that off the street, and we're going to try and help people get into treatment.
It doesn't come cheap. A public records request revealed the tent cost taxpayers more than $1.5 million in its first year. While it started as a 6-month pilot program, the mayor recently budgeted an additional $1.8 million to keep the tent open for another year. Do you think this is a good investment of tax dollars?
No. We need to do more than just double down on this one to make beds and good treatment available. It has to be more than just getting someone detox.
What do you say to critics who think this money could be better spent elsewhere?
You can't put a price tag on a life.
Certain parts of the tent's price tag are raising concerns with critics. Our review found 58 city employees racked up a total of $175,000 just in overtime for work associated with the engagement center, and that was just in the first year. For 25 Investigates, I'm Eric Rasmussen.